Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Ash, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Life is Strange True Colors. Now, this game was released on the 10th of September 2021 for all major consoles Xbox, PlayStation, Stadia, PC, and it is coming to Nintendo Switch this December. So, what better time to do a review than in anticipation of the digital Switch release? So, this game was developed by Deck 9 and published by Square Enix. Deck 9, if you've followed Life is Strange, they made the Before the Storm and Life is Strange 2. So they've had a lot of knowledge and time with the franchise. I don't always think they've made the right choices in all their games, but they've always made decent games. Like I say, I didn't really like Life is Strange 2 as much as the Life is Strange 1 and the Before the Storm prequel, but it was still a good game in its own right. Now, with this game, there is a power. Like I say, with the first game, it was like the time freezing and like turning back time and stuff, the time manipulation. There was the sort of superhero sort of lifting things with a telekinesis sort of power in Life is Strange 2. And in this game, the power is you can experience the emotions of others. And I thought that was really lame when I first heard it and I saw the trailer. I still don't think it's as good as the time powers in Life is Strange 1, but it fits in with the theme and the plot of this game, and it works really well in the end. So you've just got to experience it. So basically, the plot is you're Alex Chen, the girl you can see right now in the video, and you're going to live with your brother who lives in like a rural sort of little mountain town full of mining, like a mining sort of community. And basically, I don't want to spoil a lot of the plot, but the main plot is you're trying to solve the mystery behind your brother's death, which happens really early on in the story. It's like very, very sort of like the end of the first section of the game. And then it goes on into sort of all sorts of like, how did he die? Why did he die? How did this happen? Who did this? Is there a cover up? Is this happening? Etc. Etc. But I'm not going too in depth into it because, like I say, I feel like these games are worth just experiencing, and this game is no different to the previous games. So I was a huge fan of Max and Chloe in the original game. I didn't really connect as much with the brothers in the second game, but uh, the characters in this are all really good. Like I say, Alex, I thought she was a really good sort of playable character, and a lot of the characters in the town that you interact with, they've all got really good personalities, etc. So I really like that, and I feel like the writing in this has had a step up from the previous game as well. Now, one thing that jumps out straight away when you start playing the game is how good it looks compared to previous Life is Strange games. The animations are better. The environment is absolutely beautiful. Like I sat at the beginning and I've just sat and watched like where it plays the music and you just sort of you can click it like X or B or whatever it is to leave at any time. I would just leave it on for a few minutes and just watch and enjoy it. I've even got the opening scene here where she's on the bridge. I've got a screenshot I took of it as my desktop background because I think it just looks that pretty. And the environments, all the nature, the trees, the flowers, the sort of the wood-covered buildings, they all look absolutely awesome. The characters look loads better. The hair still isn't right. That's the only thing that stands out. The hair isn't quite how I'd like it, but it is a massive step up from previous Life is Strange games, and they've put a lot of effort into this. It's much more polished. It looks fantastic. A lot less bugs and glitches, like graphical glitches, compared to previous games. Now, the way it plays is exactly the same as Life is Strange 1 and 2. The only difference is with this game, it was released in one big chunk. So with previous Life is Strange games, they were sort of episodic. You would pay up front for either the full game or you'd pay per chapter, and then they'd come out sporadically every couple of months, basically, and you'd get like an hour or two's worth of content, and you would get to the end, and then you'd wait for the next one, and then you'd wait for the next one, like a TV show, but sort of delayed. But with this game, It's all in one. Now it is split into the chapters, so if you want to just play each chapter, you can do. So you'll get the same feeling. But like I say, I sat and I grinded this from start to finish. I couldn't put it down. I really, really enjoyed it. Um, and I'd hate waiting with a Life is Strange series because, like, if there's a delay in an episode or something, you just sat there twiddling your thumbs and you're like, come on, come on. So they've definitely, I much prefer this method of doing it, splitting the story, like the pacing into the chapters, and it literally it'll end like the chapter's ended, and then you'll have to click like start next chapter, but you don't have to wait basically if you don't want to, which I think is a massive improvement. The game itself, I thought was shorter than other Life is Strange games. Like I felt like this was like an 8-hour game, whereas I'm sure when I've played other Life is Stranges, they're about 10+ hours. So I feel like it was shorter, but it was still really enjoyable, really enthralling. I was like in it, like what's going to happen. However, I did feel like about 2/3 of the way through, you could sort of work out what was going to happen at the end, and that was the worst bit of this game for me. Like the first sort of 3/4 of the game were fantastic, then the last, I just thought the last episode wasn't up to par. Like the way it all played out, it just fell a little flat. Plot wise, it was interesting how it all tied back in and it all linked together, but I just felt the payoff at the end for me personally just wasn't that good. And then when you make at the end, you obviously get the different endings, like depending on who your love interest is, etc. What decisions you want to make. But I've watched all of them, and the one I picked, I thought was really good, but the actual end was so unsatisfying. So I I don't want to say spoilers because it's not spoiling the story stuff, but I picked to be with Steph. Like I had a relationship with Steph, who I'll talk about in a minute, and I sort of was like, let's travel the world together. And then the ending, like the ending cutscene, was like you're just on your own and she's not even there. She's just texting you, and I'm like, well, that was shit. I may as well have stayed in the town with her and all the other people, and because that ending is so much better because I've sat and watched it. So that spoiled it a bit for me. Just the choice, the ending just was a bit meh after such a really cool game. Now, like I said, character-wise, they're all really awesome. Steph returns from Before the Storm, so she is a DJ in this. Steph, I think it's Gingrich, if I pronounced it right, and she is the best character in the game. She's pretty much like the saving grace of, like, she's my favorite Life is Strange character now. She is awesome. Her whoever does her voice acting, I believe it's Katie Bent, nails it. The character is awesome. She's got such a good sort of personality. I thought she was a much better person to interact with than the male sort of love interest as such from um the options given basically. And so I hope they do more with Steph. There is a DLC which is the sort of a prequel to this, which is all about Steph. It sort of fills in between Before the Storm and this game. I got that included with the purchase because I went for the Ultimate Edition because, like I say, it was Life is Strange, so I had to get it. And this is like a bonus story, which is Wavelengths, and it's about the length of like one episode. It's a couple of hours long at best, uh, and it takes place literally in one building. So it's a very cut down sort of story, but it is sort of just focused on stuff, which is nice. Only downside is there was no achievements added for it, which I think is a bit lame. But like I say, I don't want to spoil the story, and the gameplay. Like I say, there's if you've played Life is Strange game, you'll know exactly what you're getting in for. One thing I will say is though, like midway through the game, you suddenly end up in a section where you take part in a LARP, like a live action role play for those who don't know what that means. And the game then goes into like an RPG, like a weird little RPG site system. So you'll have like turn-based combat against people. You'll still have obviously the conversations and everything that you do in Life is Strange, but there's like battle systems and stuff, which is really, really fun. You can buy items and get scrolls and stuff for your character, and it's a cool little diversion for like an hour or so in the middle of the story, which is really sweet. It ties into the plot really nicely, and it's really, really enjoyable. And I was like, I wasn't expecting it, but it was really, really, really fun. So big credit to the developers for putting that in. Like I say, it really added something to the game. Now, like I say, overall, really, really good game. It's just it had a few, like I say, the things that ruined it from being like a pure sort of perfect game for me was just the sort of wet fart of an ending, where it just didn't pay off like the previous games. I like in the first Life is Strange. Spoilers here, I'm going to say. Your choices were you either kill your friend and save everyone, or you kill an entire town and save your friend, basically. Whereas this one, they're so minuscule in comparison, basically. No matter what you do, not that much happens differently, in my opinion, to warrant like all the choices you make in the game. And also, right at the end, like even though you've been really close to people, some people in my playthrough didn't side with me at all, and the dialogue just seemed out of place because it was like one or the other. With how the characters had progressed through the game, which was a bit weird. But other than that, like I say, really, really good game. Fantastic graphics compared to previous Life is Strange. There's more to do. There's all the collectibles, as always. There's like memories to find. There's little mini games in there. There's all sorts of cool stuff. It's really worth like exploring and stuff like that. If you're into the achievement hunting, you can get through the 1,000 gamer score by pretty much playing through the game. There's a couple of missables, so you can either replay those chapters later on, or just sort of check on what you need to do beforehand. And obviously, you've got to get all the collectibles and memories and stuff like that, as with previous Life is Strange games. But there's nothing sort of too taxing that you have to worry about. Now, the game is out right now. There's multiple versions available. Like I say, I went for the ultimate sort of the ultimate edition. More expensive. It RRPs at $64.99 UK, but that included the main game, the Life is Strange Wavelengths add-on, and a costume pack for your character. You also get a costume pack um, for the Life is Strange Before the Storm remastered when that comes out, and you get the Life is Strange remastered and the Life is Strange Before the Storm remastered games as well included with that. So you're getting sort of 3 games plus an extra DLC for not much more than the full price game, really. So it was a no-brainer for me. It was worth picking up straight away. I am disappointed that Life is Strange Remastered has been delayed till next year, but like I say, it could be worse. I can't wait to play it. If they've put any of the tweaks they've found in from this developing this game, then you'll be in for a treat. Now, the game is obviously single player. It's playable on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S, and it does have smart delivery. It's optimized for Xbox Series X and S with 4K resolution, HDR10, and ray tracing, apparently, according to the Xbox marketplace. But like I say, if you like Life is Strange and you prefer like Life is Strange 1 and sort of Before the Storm over Life is Strange 2, I think you'll prefer this game. And I think the fact that they've trimmed out having to wait months between each episode, so you can literally binge it all in sort of like 8 to 10 hours. It really keeps you into the sort of story and the atmosphere and the plot. Whereas I feel like when you've got that wait, you sort of lose the connection with the characters that you do when you're playing it sort of from start to finish. But like I said, this is one of my favourite games this year. Yes, it's got flaws. Yes, it's not perfect, but it's a big improvement over Life is Strange 2, and I feel like Life is Strange is in better hands. I was worried beforehand, like I didn't think they were doing as good a job as the original developers, but this game, I think, puts that worry to rest. And I'm looking forward to see what they do next after the remasters come out with a full, like obviously a next sort of iteration in the mainline franchise. So check it out. It's out on all consoles, apart from Switch, which will be out in December. So we're only in a couple of weeks. It's out on PC and it's available on Google Stadia. But that's that for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments if you've played it and what your favourite Life is Strange game is. And we'll see you soon for more videos. Bye for now.